online crew. I've got some friends with me today. Look at these beautiful people I've got on the screen. What we are here to talk to you about today is some of the latest strategies that we're all using to help us increase engagement on social media. So at various times while we're building our businesses, certain things work and they don't work. So what we want to bring to you today as a group is different things that we are using in our business right now, today, that is helping us get engagement on social media. Now, we've got all sorts of technical things going on, and you might have just seen my light come and go. So what's happening with me in my part of the world is I'm hotspotting to my phone to even get this live going. Since about 4 o'clock this morning, our power is going out about every maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It goes out and then it comes straight back on. But when it does that, I lose my light, I lose my internet. So I'm hotspotting to my phone. So if you see a little disco happening in my part of the world, that's what's going on. I'm actually losing power and then the power's coming back on. But I can solve my internet problem with the hotspotting to my phone. So thanks, thankful for hotspot. We've got Katrin here, who just give us a little wave, Katrin. Katrin's in Germany. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning for Katrin, but she's still wanted to join us. She's got a broken wrist. Life is chaos at the moment, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning and she is here. So I'm going to let Katrin go first and then she can jump off and, go to bed. We've also got another member that's sitting in the wings trying to get their camera and microphone working, and it's just not working for him. So if he manages to sort that out, we'll bring him on as we go along. So it's fun and games here. If you're joining us live, say hello. These beautiful people that are on the screen with me, I work with in my highest level kind of mentorship program. So we're working really closely together on how to build online strategies. I look at their work and what they're doing and give them guidance. And we talk about all sorts of things, including how do we get more engagement on social media? What are some of the things that are working kind of right now for everybody? So we wanted to share that with you. So this is going to be fairly fast. We'll go around, to everybody to bring their latest kind of tip with you. So they'll just share their tip and then we'll move on. So we're not here for a long time, but we are here to give you a lot of value. So I hope that these tips that we mentioned here today can just give you some insight as to some of the things that you should concentrate on. Now, normally I go first, but I'm going to divert to Katrin just so she can share with you and then she can actually get off and go to bed because it is 3 o'clock in the morning in her part of the world. So, Katrin, what are you finding is, one of the things that you're doing in your business right now that's helping you increase your engagement?
Yeah, so that's something that I've struggled with for the longest time, and is actually letting my walls down a little bit on social media. So this is not ticky-tacky strategy. This is just being vulnerable, being a real human being, sharing the struggles that we're going through. And whenever I do that with just a picture of myself, that is when I get the best reach, the best engagement by far. Having said that, what I always recommend is if you do get comments, please reply to them meaningfully as soon as you possibly can, because people are watching. Like, is she bothering to reply? Is she just saying, yay, thank you? Or is she actually taking the time to be a human being in the comments? Hint, you can take that conversation into Messenger, just copy paste and I guess tweak it a little bit. Yeah, so that was that for me. I'm off to bed. Thank you so much for having me. It's great collaborating with all of you. Bye. And be safe, everybody. Don't break your arm.
Thank you, Katrin. And we got Dean on. You're here. You made it. So Katrin's going to drop off. Dean made it here. You're here in the end. It's all good. It's all good. So a couple of things I want to share with you with what Katrin mentioned there. And I know this is one of the hardest things to do. The more vulnerable that you are, the more you share the real you. And we're not saying that you have to share all your nitty-gritty pains and things and struggles and all the rest of it that's going on with your life. But the more genuine and authentic you are with the way that you speak, the way that you show up in your stories, what's going on in your world, the more engagement you will get, because that is what we call human relatability. People relate to real people. So when we show up on social media and just try to teach or how do I get a customer, or how do I get a team member, and that's the place we're coming from, there's no connection with that. People connect with you as a human being before they go and buy something off you. So that was really important what Katrine said. And the more and more you can do that, the more engagement that you are going to get. But also always looking back, I do this all the time. You might post something, and if you're regular with posting, you're posting something and then the next day something else and something else, and people move on pretty quickly. But for you, you should always be looking back. I put a post up about 10 days ago. It was a deliberate engagement post. I asked a question, who sees my content? It was strategic on my behalf. People are still commenting on it 10 days later. But unless I look at my notifications or I deliberately go back, I miss them. So you want anybody that makes any kind of effort to give you engagement, you want to give them engagement back. And the way the algorithm works, if you can give it back quickly, then it actually helps drive your post. Like an engagement post that I did saying, I've got a lot of friends here on Facebook, but I don't know who's seeing my post. Like, it was a strategic engagement post. I was very quick off the mark when people commented. So posted it. Don't post something and then go to bed. Post it at a time where you're going to be awake and you can respond back. And when the algorithm picks up, oh, they've posted, they've got comments, and they're responding, and there's comments, and they're responding, the algorithm will send it out to many more people. So huge, important point what Katrine mentioned. So what I want to share with you is building on that exactly. My point for you, if you want more engagement, ask for it. Ask for what you want. Don't sit back on social media and try to just think, I'm going to do this attraction marketing thing and put things in my stories. I'm just going to shoot content out everywhere and just expect people to talk to me and ask me about my products and my business. If you want engagement, if you want people to speak to you through social media, if you want them to respond or something, ask questions and ask for engagement. Go into your stories and use the poll feature or the question feature. Ask people to engage with you. So really important in this day and age, we have to cut through all the noise on social media to get people to respond to you. And would you not agree that it's really noisy out there? There is a lot of people doing a lot of things, trying to build businesses online. That's gone tenfold since we had, that thing that happened a couple of years ago around the world that shut us all down. Everyone went on social media after that. There are a lot of people that were online now that were never online before. You have to cut through all of that noise. So unless you ask questions or do engagement posts like I did, like there's over 200 or more comments on that. Or you write a social media post and at the end of it, do you agree? What's your thoughts around this? What's your perspective? What's your experience? Ask people to engage. Don't just rely on the fact that they will. Okay? This is more important than ever, in this day and age. Okay, let's move on. We've got, I'm not sure how you're seeing everybody, but I've got Beth next to me there. So Beth, what's for everyone? Are those that are on live or even catching the replay later, are you finding this helpful? Let us know in the comments. Go for it, Beth.
Hi, everybody. My tip today on one of the best strategies for getting engagement is Facebook Stories. Facebook Stories are just such a fantastic tool for boosting engagement with your audience for so many reasons. First, they appear right at the top of the newsfeed. So they're one of the first things that people see when they open your Facebook app. It's prime real estate, and it makes them hard to miss and encourages more views and interactions. And stories only last 24 hours, which kind of creates a sense of urgency, I think, and that FOMO, it motivates people to, kind of watch them and engage before they disappear. So it's that FOMO thing, fear of missing out. And when someone watches your stories, they choose to watch them. So it's like kind of raising their hand a bit. So, and the cool part about it is that you can see who's watching your stories. And when they comment on your stories, it goes right into their messages. And that's where it starts a conversation, right? And so I think that one of the biggest benefits of Facebook Story is how they I guess, can let your personality shine through. You can share, casual things and behind the scenes glimpses into your life, business, that feels authentic. And it's that personal connection that is really huge in building engagement and loyalty. We have our phones with us all the time. And, make sure that you're taking shots around you and selfies when you're walking, when you're, taking a product, just taking a selfie of, me taking an energy shot that I have. And I'm not mentioning the company name, but I'm creating curiosity and giving a glimpse into what I do each day. Maybe share a meal that you've had, share a rainbow. People are nosy, want to know what's going on in your life and your business without it being spammy. I did one yesterday, just taking an energy shot. I didn't say what it was. I just put a little gif on it saying more energy, and I got 80 views on that. And so now I'm going back into those views and just saying thanks for thanks for the love, thanks for commenting, or whatever it was. So if you're looking for a really simple way to grab attention and spark conversations and engagement and really connect with your audience, stories are really, really, definitely worth it. Just have fun with them. Don't overthink it. That, off the cuff moments, that's what makes them so engaging. So that's my tip. And there's so much more I could go into about stories, but
I know, Beth. When it comes to stories, there's just so much to say. If you're not utilizing your stories, you are missing opportunities. You're missing opportunities for connection. You're missing opportunities for know, like, and trust. You're missing opportunities to message, people. Just there is gold in stories. And it's one of the things we're going to talk about. I just want to mention next week who's registered for the free lead generation boot camp next week. All these guys are. One of the things that we're going to talk about in this boot camp is look at the people that are looking at you. Now, what Beth just shared with you is, and hopefully you all know this, stories, you can see who's watching your stories. So look at the people that are looking at you. Go back to your stories and look at those people, because you're not cold to them. You're warm to them. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know they were watching me. Like, you can get a really good insight as to who's checking you out. And even if you don't feel brave enough at that point in time to go and message somebody or tell them, oh, I can see that you're watching my stories, you can go to their Facebook and give love back. Now you're more on their radar even more than before. Like, it gives you the opportunity to work out who is looking at you and who is seeing your stuff, who's seeing what you're promoting. Like, there's just gold in stories. Absolutely, one of the latest strategies that you should be adopting more than ever is getting into your stories. And you can sell in your stories. Still do it in an attraction marketing way. Don't go, 10% off my branded, things. Still do it in the right way. But you can, it only lasts 24 hours. And if you're one of these people that's a little bit shy on social media, do what you need to do on your news feed, but get more brave in your stories. It only hangs around for 24 hours. Get over it. Like, you shouldn't really have that mentality, oh, I wonder what somebody's going to think, which I know you all have to a certain degree. If it's only there for 24 hours and then it disappears, what are you hanging on to? Seriously. It doesn't matter. It's whoever sees it for 24 hours and then it's gone. So it's a way for you to be braver about your business and your products and what you're doing easily. Awesome. Liz, what's your tip?
Okay, so for me, it's asking open-ended questions. Those start some of the most powerful conversations I've had, and it helps people feel that they're being heard, that they're a part of what it is you've got going on. So that's my big one, is that, and that works even when people are message you in your stories or from your stories. Those questions are important, so it doesn't matter where you're asking them, just make sure you're asking them.
Brilliant. Open-ended questions is what triggers engagement. If you just make a statement to somebody, they're not going to engage back. An open-ended question gives somebody the ability to then answer something with meaning and with more words and sentences. If you ask a closed, so to give you an example, if you don't really know what that means, if you ask a question that just triggers a yes or a no, that's a close-ended question. You got your answer. We're not going any further than that. It's just a yes or a no. Whereas an open-ended question, like tell me more about, that, or oh, I'd love to know more. Yeah, can you explain? Like it's open. It's you're driving for that engagement to continue. So the quality of the questions will definitely, dictate how deep or not you get with an engaging conversation with somebody. So really good tip. Claudette.
Let's see, the power of Reels. Just working with Reels itself, and so many avoid it because they feel it's complicated. Just go basic. Don't worry about all the fancy stuff you're seeing. Just put something out there. Just work it and get it out there, because that's going to open up more opportunities, because Reels just keep getting pushed out. So it's an easy way to have that connection that just kind of goes on. It's like I'll go back and look at something and it's like, oh, there's more views on here, and it may have been a few weeks ago. So you just never know. So it's just, there's great opportunity to reach people, so you can boost your engagement, increase just the stand out in the crowd. Just there's an awful lot of opportunity there when it comes to Reels. So just go.
Yeah. So 2 focus points already. If you haven't picked this up yet, stories and Reels. And you may already know that, but there's sometimes when we're really busy people, we need to really focus on certain things and get laser focused and get really good at things. You don't get really good at creating Reels or faster at creating Reels unless you're creating Reels. So if the technology side of it, trips you up a little bit, the only way you're going to learn is to go and push the buttons yourself. And the more you go and practice something, the more you're going to be better at it. And the quicker that you can pump them out and create them, the better. This is where it's at. We've never had anything like Reels in previous years that gives us untapped organic reach, get new eyeballs. You can come out of nowhere. You can reach the cold market. You can start a brand new Instagram channel, just do 100% Reels and get a whole new lot of eyeballs. It is crazy potential for you to increase your engagement and traction in your business through something like Reels. So very good point. Thank you, Claudette. Tony. You might want to unmute, Tony, so we can hear you.
Well, that's not fair. Okay. It's normal me, everybody, just so you know. Well, I chose listening. Now, that's a really weird thing to say when you start talking about I'm supposed to be getting a little bit more information about how to collaborate a little better. But I do a lot of talking on Messenger, and I speak to a lot of people. And literally reading your posts, if you're not paying attention to what people are saying to you, it's really hard to be able to respond to them accurately. It's very easy. I know this guy that actually has a tendency to interrupt people when they're speaking sometimes. And when you're in the middle of a conversation, let them finish. Be quiet. And one of the things that comes in real handy when you do that is you actually hear what they're saying, and they may have answered the question that you were going to ask before you interrupted them. So from my perspective, listening contains a lot of things. That's what I was really good at when I was in corporate America. I'm out of practice a little bit, but the one thing that we can all do, pay attention. It only costs $1. It doesn't cost much at all. So that's my concept of collaboration. Pay attention, be respectful. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a good point, Tony, because it's all about intention, isn't it, really?
Yes, it is.
Intentionally listening, intentionally, just everything with social media, intentionally doing stories, intentionally doing Reels, intentionally having open-ended conversations, intentionally listening and, really hearing people. I often go like this. Are you really hearing me? When I'm trying to make a point, these guys know it. Like, I really need you to hear me now. But this is what Tony's talking about. It's like really listen, watch, learn. You could go into groups and look and listen to what people are asking. what are people struggling with? Listen and learn from that. And that could create your next lot of content when you're really listening and learning, from people intentionally. So thank you, Tony. Really good point. Donna, you can mute again now, Tony.
Hey, everyone. I just wanted to touch today on getting your engagement increased by monitoring the best times to post and working with the algorithm like that. Obviously, it's something that you want to experiment and play around with, but you want to get your message out there when people are on. So it's usually around sort of 7 to 9 in the morning when people are getting started and checking in on their social media and heading off to work and doing whatever they are doing. And then they're sort of busy in their work day, probably having a little bit of a mental break around lunchtime, switching off from work a bit, jumping back onto the social media. These times are really good to post and get engagement. And then, afternoons can be hit and miss. Sometimes people sort of have that little break again in the afternoon, but I think, again, heading into the evening around sort of 7 to 9 after dinner time, people are winding down, sitting on the couch, picking up their phone and looking at what's happening on social media or just switching off and scrolling. That tends to be the best times for you to sort of engage with people and get your message out there.
Yeah, thanks, Donna. It's a good point. And you all know, well, hopefully you know your target market. So what are your target market doing at different times of the day? And that will change depending what age bracket you are going for. So, people that are like that have got kids, school pickup is at 3 o'clock. If that's the kind of market that you're going for, don't post at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Just know, that's just one example. Just know, the age bracket, the target market of people roughly, what they're doing at different times of day, and post then and test it. In saying that, if it's the difference between you posting and not posting anything at all, still post, okay? Don't use that as an excuse. But this is where we get more intentional with when we're posting. We're back to intention again. Everything is wrapped up with, having intention. When you intentionally post at a certain time and, monitor that. But if you are monitoring and evaluating, do it for a period of time. Don't just do it one day and make a massive evaluation or that bombed because you did it on one day. Like, do something for at least 7 days, if not longer, and then evaluate the effectiveness of something like the timing of posting. But yeah, it's a good one to test and evaluate depending on, your target market. Thank you, Donna. Laura.
Hi, I'm going to expand a little bit more on that being a human before being a marketer. We want to be social on social media. That means connecting with people through comments, through conversations. It means showing up as who you are. Are you funny? Then have a lot of humorous posts. Are you knowledgeable? Maybe you need to have to share that information with folks. Are you compassionate? Let that show through your posts, through your comments and conversations. Don't forget your hobbies and your interests. People are really engaging around those things as well. And we want to be authentic. We want to allow our emotions to show. Let people know what we're passionate about, because there's other people out there that also share those same passions. Mm-hmm. And this is one that I'm working on and practicing and getting better all the time, is speak like you're speaking to people sitting in your living room, right?
Absolutely.
Even though they call it a social media platform, it's not like you're on a stage in front of people. Speak to people like they're sitting in your living room. Of course, we still want to be posting according to our branding and our content buckets, but telling your story without wondering how many likes you're going to get, who's going to comment, who's going to share, just getting it out there. And that's what it means to be human before a marketer.
Absolutely. My motto through and through, a lot of you in this community will know that. That's just nailing it. At the end of the day, if you can be more of a human than a marketer, you'll make more human connection. And this is the industry that we're in. There's obviously other industries that just sell on social media, but that's what they're designed to do. We are in a relationship business in this industry. So it is so important. We know, you all know this. I know you all know this. People buy from people that they know, like, and trust. But if you're not letting people get to know you, like you, and trust you, then it's going to be really hard for you to build a business, especially online through social media. So be the human that we are, you know, and I often use this example. If I met you at a party, like I walked into a room and we were, you know, I walked up to you for the first time, I'd give you a big smile and I'd go, hi, how are you? You know, I'd talk to you as a person. I'd ask you some questions about yourself. You know, suddenly when people get on social media, they lose all of that. They don't talk to people like they're sitting in their lounge room. They don't address people politely and ask them questions. They just turn into these spammy bots on the other side of a keyboard. So as you know, if you can just remember to be who you are as a genuine human being and bring that online, you'll probably connect with people a lot quicker. Human relationships is so important. Thank you, Laura. So bring us home, Dean. We got you in on the end. You got your technology worked out. So what's your tip?
I got it figured out about 3 seconds before I was going to throw the computer out the window. So timing was really good.
Glad you worked it out.
Whoa. Yeah. So actually my tip hopefully will kind of bring all this together, because after you do all your reels and after you do stories and after you're trying to get all this engagement and somebody does engage, it's like, what do I do now? You know, how do I keep this thing going? And the tip is to be genuinely curious.
Yes.
That pulls in asking the questions and all that, but to dig into what somebody has said, you know, even if it's just starting out with them going, you know, hey, thanks so much for responding to that. You know, what had happened that made you respond that way? And to get them talking, really, wow, when did that happen? How did that turn out? You know, just pulling more information, but being genuinely curious. And one of the books that I think is really good about that, if you haven't read it already, is Questions Are the Answers by Alan Pease.
Absolutely.
I think this copy I have was probably written before I was born. I'm sure there are newer copies and updated copies, but it's a really good way to just kind of trigger those ideas of how to engage with people and how to pull more out of them, because we want to take them from our posts to Messenger and then get them off and really be communicating with them. So my tip is to be genuinely curious about people.
Yeah, absolutely. People will care more about what you have, what you're selling, when they actually genuinely think that you care about them. So when you're curious and you ask really, you know, great questions and open-ended questions at that, and intentionally listening to ask, you know, the right questions, you're going to have a really deep and meaningful conversation quite quickly. What a lot of people do on social media is they don't go deep enough. They're not intentional. They're not doing open-ended questions. They're not getting curious enough in a genuine way. So everybody stays on the surface level. And when you can be talking to a lot of people on social media, but if it's all at a surface level, you don't really get to being able to help somebody with your solution. You just have a lot of communication and say, yeah, I spoke to 20 people this week or 30 people this week, but it's all on, you know, it's all on a superficial level and you're ticking off, you know, numbers, but you're not really listening enough, or the quality of your questions are not good enough, or you need to practice open-ended questions or getting curious, because, you know, I'll say it again, people will get more interested in what you have when they genuinely believe that you are interested in helping them. Skepticism goes through the roof when people just think, oh, they're just trying to sell me something. If people are getting the impression that you're just trying to sell them something, you haven't intentionally got curious enough to open enough open-ended questions.
And that genuine quality, that's the difference between asking preconceived questions that you had so that the answers lead into what you're trying to get them to do. And people, they feel that right away. So letting loose of the end result and just being curious and that genuine, that's perfect, Helen.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks, Dean. Appreciate you contributing to that and everything here. And I know some of you listening, whether that's live or on the replay, a lot of this is not new, but these are the latest strategies that are all helping us build our businesses, but they're not necessarily new. So I just hope that you take from listening to this what it is that you need to focus on. Because there's a lot of things that you can do on social media and get overwhelmed by. Absolutely. But if you concentrate on these things, we've talked about stories, we've talked about reels, we've talked about intention, we've talked about open-ended conversations, the timing that you post, being a human before a marketer and being curious, like all of those things. And everything that everyone's mentioned here today is, if you really take that on board, if you really hear us, like really listen to this discussion, it can help you hone in and focus on what you, really need to do that's going to move the needle forward to help you get more engagement. So I want to thank everybody for listening to us live or on the replay. I want to thank these guys here that are on the screen with me. It is a pleasure to work with you all and help you in your businesses. And I hope you've enjoyed delivering. I know this is a little bit scary for some of them that have not done anything like this before. So I'm trying to push them as well and get them out of their comfort zone. So well done to our VIP students, some of them anyway. It's been great to have you on and I really appreciate you all and love working with you all. So if you want to just say goodbye there. So those of you watching or catching the replay, did you get some kind of value or some kind of message from this training? Let us know in the comments. We would love to know. And don't forget, next week is going to look a little bit different. I know all these guys will be on. We've got our lead generation bootcamp all next week, which means I won't be live on my business page. I won't be live on YouTube. I won't be live on Instagram. I'll only be live in the group where we're delivering that from. And let's talk all things leads. How do we attract them? What do we do? How do we nurture them? Like if you don't have leads, you don't have a business. So it is that important. Oh, and I should probably tell you how to register if you haven't. If you go to helenmartinonline.com/lead generation, whose faces am I going to cover? Oh, no, you all moved. That's how you get registered. It's completely free. You got nothing to lose and a whole lot of gain. Whole lot of things to gain. Okay. So thank you again, everybody. We will see you next week for the Lead Generation Bootcamp. Bye-bye.